Hey everybody, this is Jeff Charlton with REIPrintMail, and today we have a special guest. His name is Greg Herlean, and Greg is a money guy, and he's got kind of a unique way of allowing you to free up some money in your portfolio to use for real estate investing. And today we're going to talk to him about what he can do for us and what he can do for you. Greg, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, and your story?
Yeah, look, I actually never thought that I would be this long in the industry talking about IRAs and how that even is applicable to scaling and money and raising dollars and scaling your business. I thought I'd talk about marketing and finding deals when I first got in the business 20 something years ago in the real estate world. But I learned real quick that I needed to find money. If I wanted to scale, I needed equity, I needed marketing dollars, I needed capital. I learned about this subject literally 23 years ago, almost 24 years ago. And I learned it so well that once I understood how money works, where to find it, how to utilize it best to scale your business, or to avoid taxes as well, I just dove deep into it. So 15 years ago, I started a trust company called Horizon Trust Company, and we help thousands, almost 10,000 clients we have now, of individuals that have an IRA or an old 401k to use their money how they wish, frankly. There's a few rules we can talk about, but basically we go out and teach, help, and educate people on how to use their retirement funds to scale their business or just to scale their portfolio. Like you had just mentioned before we started here, you talked about Firefighter friend of yours. And I can tell you most people, if they just stick with the stock market approach, that they're gonna just see this up and down, up and down. That's just what the market does. It's volatile. But those that understand what we're going to talk about today a little bit can get some pretty massive gains and kind of different ways as well. Anyways, that's what I do in a nutshell. There's no short elevator pitch with what I do. It's a little bit longer, but we just help individuals understand their options with the retirement accounts. And the options is what gets exciting, is what are those things, etc.
So you're doing what's called self-directed IRAs, right?
We self-direct. We have a trust company and we self-direct our IRAs for individuals. That's correct.
What does that mean exactly when you say self-direct? Most people go to work for a company and they get a 401k. We hear about 401ks more than IRAs, but you get a 401k and you put some money aside, maybe the company matches it, and usually they got a bunch of funds you can choose from, and that's about it. You don't really have a lot beyond that. You don't really have much to do with it. So what you're doing is a lot different than that, right?
Yeah, so as a custodian, we are not fiduciaries. We are not advisors on telling you where you put your money. You, the IRA owner, gets to pick and choose where they put the funds, and it's typically in non-traditional places, unlike the stock market, right? The stock market is traditional. It's what we all know, or we believe we know, or your advisors to tell you what it is. But I'm talking about gaining access. Self-directed is just truly gaining access. So you get to direct your funds, your retirement funds, into alternative asset classes like real estate, like Bitcoin, like businesses, precious metals. You get to choose those and make those decisions on behalf of your retirement account. These are things, and what makes it self-directed is that you're doing it, but you also have way more options. That's what's about self-directing. If you went to your advisor right now and said, hey, Jeff, I'd like to start a new business, real estate investment company, and I need money to do so, and I'm going to call my advisor and tell him to send me over $100,000 out of my IRA to start this business. He can do it. It's against the rules. It's not regulated. But if you called me and said, hey, I'm going to start this new business, I'm going to invest in it with my IRA, can you help me do that? That's what we do. We will help you get your funds from wherever they're at, all or a portion thereof, over to our company, Horizon Trust. And once it arrives there, you then have access to send it out to different transactions. It's got to be for investment purposes. You can't send it out to yourself and just live off of it unless you're older than 59 and a half. But you got to use it for investment purposes.
You have to keep the money in there though, right?
Yeah, you can't access it before 59 and a half for the most part. And so, yes, it's going to grow. But I mean, that's the positive too. You can't really use it for today's purposes, paying your bills. But also all those gains are tax deferred, or if it's a Roth self-directed account, you'll never pay taxes. So that's the positive as well.
Yeah, you mentioned my friend. I have a friend that's a firefighter in New York, or he was. I should say retired several years ago. He was a firefighter his entire career. He wasn't getting rich, let's put it that way. And he was kind of just a part-time real estate investor. That's where I met him, investing in real estate. And he had some rental properties, but he's early on, when they first allowed him to start doing Roths and then the self-directed, he switched his entire pension fund or whatever he had with the fire department into the Roth self-directed IRA, and he started using that. to invest in his rental properties. And over the years, about 10, 15 years ago, he started this. I don't know exactly when, but he has well over $1 million now, and he didn't have anywhere near that. It was under $100,000 he started with. And he has been able to wheel and deal within that account in the real estate space. It's all been real estate, doing a little flipping, renting, buying whole, whatever he was doing. I'm not even sure, but it wasn't a lot though. It wasn't like he's some major flipper. Just, had a handful of properties, and maybe they've changed over the years once or twice. A Roth, I don't know if people listening to this, they understand the difference between a regular IRA and a Roth, but a Roth allows you to earn tax-free money indefinitely, and when you take it out, it's still tax-free. Because in a Roth, when you first put it in, you put in after-tax money in the beginning, so you pay your taxes on the initial investment one time, but all growth after that is not taxed. So that is definitely the way to go if you can do that.
Yeah, and I'll just mention that here as well, as if you're listening to this, but by the way, Jeff, there's over 100 million IRAs in the United States. That's almost a third of our population. So almost everyone, or at least someone to your left or right, owns an IRA or an old 401k. So this is applicable to them. Our mission is really to educate people just what their options are. The firefighter sounded like he went all in. He had a goal, he has a plan, and he's crushing it. Some people are like, hey, look, I just want to buy one or two assets, maybe a couple properties per year, or total using your IRA. You can do that and have control of your retirement funds. And that's what gives people more comfort, for sure.
Yeah. Now, so you have a business that handles all this. So if I had either an IRA or 401k and I wanted to do this, I would come to you, and then what would happen next?
Yeah. So, we are the fastest in the industry. It's actually why I started the company. I used to refer it out to other competitors, but for so many years, and they just were so slow. So what we do is we literally handhold you through the process. So if someone says, hey, I have an IRA, I want to invest in real estate, don't know how the hell to do it. I heard Jeff and Greg talking, it's interesting, but I don't know what to do. Well, it's a quick 15-minute phone call with our team. So we help you fill out the application over the phone. We email it to you so you can review it, sign it. And once you have an account set up, which takes literally an hour or two, with an hour of our time, 15 minutes of your time, then we'll call the transferring custodian. So let's say, Jeff, you got money at Fidelity and you want to move over all or a portion of it to Horizon Trust, our company. We'll then request those funds. So after your account is set up with us, the application, it's not truly open until it's funded, which means you either make a contribution out of your checkbook, or most of our clients are moving money somewhere else. So the money's then come over to us. That happens typically within 7 days. Your account now is funded. And let's say that the $100,000 arrives from Fidelity on behalf of Jeff Charlton. So the money is now in your Horizon Trust Company account. You can see it in your portal online. And so once you see it, then Jeff can be like, hey, look, I want to go buy a whole property. I want to go flip a property. Most of the listeners already probably have a business, but they might want to start or put money into a business. And you can do that using an IRA. You and I could start, we could start doing print mail and pick Las Vegas as the demographic, because that's where I'm at. And we could hire someone to run the business, but our IRAs, yours and I's, Jeff, could fund this LLC. And that LLC then can pay for marketing, can pay all the expenses, can hire people to manage it. And then our distributions, our profits would go back into our IRAs.
So most of the people listening to this are real estate investors, because this is on a YouTube channel, and most of the people on that YouTube channel that follow us are real estate investors. And we're in the mail business, so we serve real estate investors. So for investors, money is always in demand. Most investors, even when they're really successful, eventually run out of money, especially when you get aggressive. You're buying a bunch of stuff. If you have a lot of profit, it costs money to buy real estate. Even if you're flipping them all, you still got to at least hold them for a while, if that's your strategy. And I'm back to my friend Roy. That's what he did. He did all his buying and selling and managing rental properties all within his IRA. So that's totally cool, right?
Yep. Totally cool. We have a little over $1 billion in assets under management. We've got about 8,000 clients currently, and we just help people do this kind of thing every single day. It's mom and pop stuff, it's Airbnbs, it's wholesaling. We just see so many different kinds of assets that people are buying with their IRAs. Bitcoin, if that's your thing.
Yeah, I've tried Bitcoin. It scares me. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
Real estate's way less complicated than Bitcoin, if you ask me. Real estate or any kind of business. So when you have this, is it a hassle to manage it? Like once I've got it all set up, I got the money, I got an account, and I want to do business, do I have a checking account? Can I operate like a normal business, or do I have to contact you all the time every time I want to make a move?
Yeah, good question. So there's two approaches. There's two ways of creating an account with us. Once your account is set up, you can then just have your IRA directly invest into a specific deal or into a fund. But most of our real estate investors that are doing more assets and more transactions, they'll create a LLC. And then we help them do that. We call it the Checkbook LLC. So the Checkbook LLC is where you then have your IRA fund. Basically, your money comes to us at Horizon Trust, and then you say, hey, Horizon Trust, send my $100,000 to this brand new LLC that's owned now by my IRA. So we send the $100,000 to this LLC into the bank account thereof.
So it's effectively that all the profit stays in the IRA until you're 59 and a half or whatever the rules are, to be able to start taking it out without any kind of penalties or anything, right?
That's right. And every situation's a little bit different. So how does this apply to you? Because someone listening to this might say, hey, this all sounds great. I need money for marketing or for my business, and I need a paycheck. And so I can't put my IRA in this. And that's true. If you're gonna put your IRA in that, then you can't take a paycheck. So the solution, and I've done this personally 20 years ago, you and I have been in these boardrooms, right? We were in these big masterminds. People are always talking about capital, right? For expenses. And so if you have an IRA, great, but there's rules that how you can use your IRA funds when it's your own business. It's a little bit trickier and harder to do because you gotta keep it compliant. But there isn't a rule for someone who's not related to me to lend to me or my business with their IRA. I'll never forget this. I put together, I was like 25 years old and I was like, all right, I've got to get here, and how do I do that? I got certain expenses. I want to hire some people. I put together like this whole pro forma, right? And I was like, well, I need about $150,000. I didn't have it in my IRA, nor did that really help me at the time. But what I did is I went out and I found IRA investors. Remember, there's 100 million of them. They're all around you. So I all of a sudden went from no cash, really flexibility in my company, 1 employee, I need to go to 3 employees, to overnight raising capital. But look, a bank wasn't going to lend me $150,000. I was 25 years old.
Right.
And so this gave me the capital I needed to scale. It was actually something I hardly ever talk about. This was probably a big turning point for me in my career. I know I was 25 years old, but being able to go from 1 to 3 employees.
So I'm just going to take that one more step. So they gave you the money, and then you just did whatever you wanted with that money to run your business, right? And all you were obligated to them is pay them that 14%, right?
That's right. It was a 5-year note. I had time, right, to figure my shit out, basically. And I did. And I paid it off. I think I paid it off in like 3.5 years. But man, it totally changed my business. And so many different masterminds and gatherings, and capital is almost always the number one thing.
Oh yeah. Even
right?
the guys that are doing really well are always looking for money.
Right. And so it's around you. And I think everyone typically goes to a hard money lender, or they go to a bank. I mean, that's typically where people go, but they don't think, oh, I've got a whole community, a Facebook community, a real estate community, or the cases, and half of them all have IRAs and they don't like the stock market, or they want to do something else, or they want to partner with me, and I never ask them if they have an IRA. So that should be the biggest takeaway for anyone listening to this message. If you're looking to scale and looking for capital, it is all around you.
And really, you're back to this thing about using your own money, your own IRA. Let's say, because you can't pay yourself a salary, but you don't necessarily need to fund your entire operation with that.
I got a lot of people do that. But Parker, he doesn't mind that I share. I mean, he'll do like 2 to 4 deals a year inside of his self-directed IRA, but he puts a handful every single year. And so someone like him can turn a $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 Roth IRA into $50,000 or $100,000 in 1 year, nothing in taxes. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's really great. I mean, the Roths are awesome. I'm 62 years old, and unfortunately, I didn't start young enough to have much in it. But that brings up another question, by the way. Is it possible? You mentioned earlier when you fund it, you could write a check. Let's say you don't have an IRA right now. Can I start a brand new IRA through you?
Yeah.
And start this process with just a check?
You can. We do it every day. So you can fund it, and we'll help you. Like, that's what we do on the first phone call, is we first find out if you already have a retirement account, if you want to move that over, and we kind of go through that. Or if you don't have one yet, we talk about the different types, what you qualify for. And then obviously we're not CPAs or attorneys, so you can go back and you can just confirm with your CPA, what kind of account you should set up. But we typically can help you, guide you if you qualify for a Roth. We're opening up tons of those. You're able to contribute almost $70,000. If you're starting from scratch, but you're making good money, it's not too late.
Cool. Yeah, I love things where you can pay no tax.
Yeah.
That's what's awesome about Roth. I mean, regular IRAs are okay, but they're not nearly as good as Roth.
Roth's the best, and especially when you have these big wins. And look, you can convert your traditional to a Roth. And that's what we have a lot of clients do as well. If you don't have a Roth, you have an old 401k, we can help you convert it to a Roth. So the next decade or more, it can grow tax-free and come out tax-free.
Anything else we covered you think you need to talk about?
Not really. I think it's just more of thinking outside the box. This has been around for over 40 years. I think that's one of the biggest things. People think, oh, it's a new thing. Not new. The rich keep getting richer because the government has created these rules and they're using them to their best ability.
Right.
Mitt Romney's, his IRA is not so big because he picked the right stocks and he just hoped and believed the market was going to do well. He was using his IRA to invest in his own businesses. And that's the person you should trust is yourself. And so it's out there. It's been around for 40 years. We will hold your hand through the process. If you're interested, obviously reach out to myself or Jeff, and we'd love to just kind of educate you more on how it works.
All right. Yeah, Greg, I've known him through masterminds probably, I don't even know when, probably 10 years at least.
10 years, yeah.
He's a reputable guy. Like you said, he's been around for 15 years. There's not too many guys in the money business that have been around doing the same thing for that long. So that alone says something. It says something good.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, great. Guess that's it.
Perfect.
All right. So we'll end it and then cool. That was good.
Thank you. I think that was perfect.